Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody tonight? I hope you are all doing good. Not sure whether anybody's gonna come on in the Discord with me tonight. But yeah, this is chill night. We'll talk about whatever. Um, I got a new patron. I got a video up earlier today. Um, what else? Um, I just finished watching Star Trek, the first season of Strange New Worlds. Not that anybody's hearing me talk about this stuff. Hey, Timothy, how are you? What's what's ever so old and not exciting? I guess that would be Melvin. No, um, not next week. The week after, I should be doing the last page of Melvin. Hey, Rebellious, how are you? For inking it, anyways. Uh, and what is the verdict on Star Trek? No, not Brave New World, Strange New Worlds. Hey, Massive, how are you? I'd say it's pretty good. Um, Definitely better than the first couple seasons of Discovery. Discovery got better in the third and fourth season when they went to like the 31st or 32nd century. What's going on? I'm just here, gonna be drawing something up. Uh, Not well for off. Yeah, yeah. Sorry to hear about what you DM'd with me in uh, Discord, Rebellious. So let's see. What are we gonna do? I guess what size? Oh, nothing is wrong with Pastry's channel. It's some real life stuff that's happened with Pastry. Okay. Why are my kilobytes going to 0 seconds? Get up there and stay up there. Okay, that's better. Oh, you still here, Massive? As for what's going on, not much. As I was saying, I got a new Patreon. Not a lot of amount, not a lot of money, but something's better than nothing, right? Yeah. I don't want the channel to know because I don't want my YouTube studio to blow up with concerned comments. Yeah, I can get that for sure in a way. But at the same time, it shows somebody cares too, pastry. And knowing people care does can make you feel better. You'll get no concerned comments from me. Metal does not do concerned comments. Right, Metal, or am I wrong? So yeah, what was this? So yeah, so I saw just as Timothy was asking me about, I finished watching Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. Um, I was gonna go see that Strange thing by Disney. I forget what it's called. The new one that's Strange something, Strange Adventures or something like that. I think it's by Disney. But I heard apparently it's really a lot of propaganda, which uh, maybe I shouldn't say anything more at this point. Let's see. Nice. So you're already making a little money of it. I wouldn't say I'm making any money off my Patreon, but uh, I eventually want to do a Patreon, but I haven't developed an audience first. Yeah, well, I've had my Patreon for a few years. I had it up to like I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks, or maybe 20 or 30, something like that, for a couple years, or for about a year, or a few months, 6 months. But it went down to nothing. Yeah, Strange World. But I have to develop modding. I really haven't even started doing YouTube and promoting yet. Huh. Timmy, what should I offer on Patreon? Maybe an exclusive comic, a book that only Patreon members can. You have to make me making content, most likely, Timothy, to do a Patreon. Metal says, I only show my concern by doing. If I'm not taking an action about something, my concern are probable fallacies. I see. So what was I was I had something else I said about, I forget what, off the top of my head. So as you can probably see here, I'm doing up the flash right now. Not the flash, sorry, the flame. Why did I say the flash? This guy looks nothing like and is not the Flash. Um, oh, jeez, I know I made three announcements: the Patreon, the whatchamacallit, Strange World. Oh no, not Strange Worlds. Star Trek. I don't know. But yeah, Strange New Worlds was good. Although they didn't visit many strange new worlds. um, but I guess that's the problem when you don't have a lot of episodes to work with. It was 10 episodes in total. You don't get a lot of filler stuff, which I think well, Netflix type TV shows, that's what they're missing when they're only doing these 10 episode or 12 episodes or 8 or less TV shows, 8 episode TV season episodes. They're not letting you get to know the characters. Oh, also, has anybody watched Transformers Earth Spark yet? Um, that's on Nickelodeon. I watched that this week too. I'd watched the first 2 episodes a few weeks ago. And of course, if anybody out there wants to come on, feel free. Make sure you hit that. If you can, hit the like button. Share this out. Let's like to get more people in here. We're at 732 last time I checked. For people, I'd like to start to get up to 800. We're slowly getting there. Um, no filler episodes. Useless. It's the beach episode. It's a cardinal sin to skip the beach episode. Oh no! Oh, okay. No filler episodes unless it's the beach episode. Well, the beach episode of what? I don't think too many shows have beach episodes. Now, I think of the original Star Trek. That had, well, even the Next Generation. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Well, probably, up to Enterprise, really. They all had this extra stuff, you know, the filler episodes or whatever. You got to know the characters a little bit more and better, I think, with them, or some characters. Then again, there's the question. The 10 episodes allows, like maybe like a story arc, although DS9 sort of did that with a season story arc. Do we watch more anime? Most shows have beach episodes. Oh, okay. Um, I guess there is a question as what I was saying. Do What do you guys think of overarching story arcs or a story arc for the season? Whether it be 10 episodes or 20 or maybe a little bit more than 20, where they may not hit on that story arc well, if it's more than 20, they probably wouldn't hit on it every episode, but they come back to it every little bit. Or do you like more episodic, like the original Star Trek, where there's just a bit of canon, but not every episode effect. You see the effects of every episode to episode, except for maybe some character development. I wonder why a lot of animes have beach episodes. Any idea, Metal? I prefer Trek to be more episodic. Bikinis. Crossy, what would you do if I convinced my friend to hop on your show? Talk to him? I take it you're talking about pilfer draws? Although he might want to get the somewhat the gist of the show by coming to the thing first, the panel. I was watching Pilfer a little bit last night. Seems like a pretty good guy. Although his volume was a little low, it was hard to hear him a lot. I didn't say anything, being my first time there, but other than that, bikinis. Oh, that's why they do it, so they can have their female characters in bikinis. I guess that's good. I know he said about dropping by tonight. He was asking what time I was on. So, anyways, as you can see, I did a rendition of the flame here, people. That's not bad for 20 minutes. He looks more like a kid version of the flame. Maybe some kid cosplaying as the flame. I told Pilf even you even let me on. Uh, Hey Joshua, how are you? And what did Pilfer say about the fact that I had let you on? Hey Pilfer. Oh, nice. So this is just a chill stream. I'm drawing whatever. Um, right now I'm drawing my character Insecto, just haphazardly, not super good. Just so I can. I just drew my character the Flame, although he looks more kidified here. But how are you tonight, Pilfer? Pilfer Pup, that is, not Pilfer Draw. And if anybody wants to come on, I'm in my Discord on air chat. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Just the Discord link should be in the description for those that. Well, I know I had said um, gonna be getting probably Melvin done soon. I know I was saying how my comic is coming. Next week, I'm down to the last 4 pages. Hopefully, I'll be started. I'm started the fourth to last page. Hopefully, I'll be started the third to last page by Saturday sometime. Um, then we'll be hopefully done it for early next week, and hopefully we'll get the other 2 pages. And then it's just going over the art, making sure everything's correct, although everything's lined up. I know there's some corrections that I gotta do. Hopefully that'll take me a week or less. And then of course it's putting all the lettering on and then getting it checked by my couple my mom for a little maybe a little bit of editing, and then a person I'm paying well metal for going through making sure all my dialogues good for spelling and grammar. Oh, what's up, Joshua? Not much. Got a new patron after a couple years of not having, or a year or more, not having a patron at all. Maybe I should advertise that more. Because I would like to get that up. It'd be nice to have that up to a couple $100 a month. I did start that when I was a little bit financially dry. I didn't know you had a Patreon. You, you didn't know, Joshua? I thought you knew. You were around when I started it. I think at one point I had up to four different Patreons going at the same time, but didn't last. I don't remember. Yeah, uh, I haven't advertised it or said anything. Your anatomy is really nice. Looks good so far. Yeah, this is. I'm not the best at anatomy. I'll admit that, but this is just me more fooling around. When I want to do real good, I'll be taking it in steps. Like, uh, do I have anything that I could show that on? I probably do, but uh, if it's not in Joshua Garza, it did not exist. Hey, Lorenzo, how are you? Yeah, and I use Clip Studio, but then again, I'm not doing animation like you. Although I've got the EX, so I can do animation with this now better. But I was starting a little bit of an animation thing when I was a couple months before, well, maybe not just a couple months, a bit before. And here's where everything goes to the crapper. my my legs are not good, and my feet. Animation is Bobo. I'm not sure what you mean. Let's see. Lorenzo says, "Hey, everyone. Sadly, I can't stick around. I'm afraid of keeping my neighborhood awake. I swear, the walls were made of paper mache." Thanks, Pilfer. Let's see. Lorenzo revealing he actually lives in a Japanese bathhouse with literal paper walls. But when you got just the pro, the step up from the free demo edition, in terms of animation, you should try some Animaniacs. You could do a lot with still scenes with storytelling. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about animation is how long it takes. Um, like I said, I was doing some stuff a while back, like about 6, 7 months ago, maybe more. Bobo is like garage or bothersome. It's just a lot of work with very little payoff. Oh yeah, for sure. I was trying to do an ad for mine, and it's just I grabbed some stuff that I wanted to use for it and change into my characters, but heck, even that is just so time consuming. And then the coloring, it's like, will this ever end? But I'm gonna probably try and go back to it for my next campaign, try and get it done. I gotta add a little something in because I'll have another character that I'm doing with my next campaign. It's okay. English isn't Rick's first language. He's from Canada. Uh, I did what is functionally Animaniac uh, animated for the Final Fantasy RPG scene where Flit almost drowned. Duh. I did that in a single night. Yeah. Well, you had images to work with and you just sort of moved them. Is that what you're talking? I guess that's what you're talking about. I'm actually getting, things to move a little, have a little bit of different shading or whatever. Uh, I've checked out a few of Pilfer's vids. They're pretty good animations. Do you think you would be any good Pilfer on like more human type stuff? Uh, yeah. Hey, Captain Finity, how the? Yeah, and how many character and how many images of your character do you have? Me? uh, well, for the RPG, only one, maybe two or three. In fact, here, let me go over to YouTube. Um, Pilfer, I just made you a mod if you want to drop a link to your channel. I barely get comic pages. There's no way I'd be able to do a solo animation. That this stuff is so time consuming. Yeah, for sure. So this is my character. How are you tonight, Captain Finity, or whatever time it is for you? Also, you used to make sprite animations back in high school. The same principle. Make a lot of custom video game sprites and move them across the screen, swapping out the poses. Yeah. Play your strength, I think, is the best course of action. You really, you do really great comic work. I do more animation work. Yeah. Well, I've been doing a lot of stuff over the years. It's just I sought out somebody to do what I wanted to for that animation, and I'm not saying it's not worth it. Some ways it is, especially if you don't want to do it yourself and spend the time. But and I think they gave me a low rate, and it was oh god expensive. I've had an excellent 3 hour live stream with no guests, so I'm tired but happy. Yeah, I can believe it. Uh, I also did some traditional animation in high school, but that requires a light box, and I'm broke. Yeah, I did some computer animation in high school, but I got near the end of it, and something happened to it, and actually, unfortunately, I never got the video of it. I also did some plasticine claymation too. I did take an animation course in high school for a semester because I would love my stuff to be animated one day. My channel is mostly in illustration animation content since you asked me to link. Yeah, uh, I did. I left it on a lot yesterday. I must admit I didn't watch a lot. The one thing I found, and with you, I didn't say anything in the chat, but I think for your mic, you need to get it up a bit because I couldn't. Maybe I'm. It's just me, but I couldn't. It was hard to hear you. I had to really strain to hear myself when you were talking. I'm not sure how well you can hear me. I love stop motion and claymation. That was fun. Yeah, it was. So, and also at the same time, I was trying to get, I was getting some of the coloring done for the video that I put up today about page 18 of Canadian Shield. Oh, thanks. I'll bring the mic closer. We can hear you fine. Oh, that's great. Sometimes it's hard to tell. These people sometimes give me. Oh, I should forewarn you if Rebellious didn't already. My chat can be full of trolls, but good trolls. They don't mean any harm. They'll just tease you. They may or may not tease you, but they'll tease me for sure. But it's good hearted. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my. I just brought up a few of my different characters. This is a villain horsefly. She's going to appear in the third issue of Snowdrift. I'm not coloring these in right now. Like I said, I'm just drawing for playful trolls. Yeah, your audio's still messed up. Hello. You resent or you resent or resemble being called a troll? For those that don't know, which is probably just Pilfer, this is Metal. How are you doing tonight, Metal? Cool, cool, cool. Uh, uh, I guess that's good. So, have you checked out? Well, how much are you into Star Trek, anyways? Uh, uh, well, so I guess you haven't. Have you watched any of Strange New Worlds? Uh, I think it's pretty good. I think it. And actually, the last episode they had Kirk, James Kirk, because James T. Kirk, I should say, because in a few episodes they had Samuel Kirk aboard the Enterprise, Kirk's brother. Although, I don't think they really got the right person to play Uhura. I just don't think the actress was good and all, but I just don't think she looks close enough to Uhura or Nichelle Nichols. And then, of course, yeah, it's hard to tell because she's supposed to be a cadet in this. So, and the thing is, so I, in some ways, I don't think so. She's supposed to be like a really genius linguistics person. As far as I know, Nichelle Nichols was never supposed to be a genius um, linguistics person. Yeah, yeah, the Kelvin. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they can't hear you. Um, uh, so you gotta. Okay, let's see. Can they? Let's see you talk. I have to see whether they can
I
hear
don't
you.
know. They probably can't. They can't even be sure that I'm here unless, I guess they go into the Discord and check. They could just think that, like, I'm a figment of your imagination,
Joshua says,
as
"Okay,
Josh
so,
is saying. Yeah.
Pilfer, can you hear anybody? Somebody that I think won't troll me on this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Rick, why do you still live in Canada? And if so, why? Yes, I still live in Canada. Because I don't got the money to move anywhere else. We can hear you now,
Okay, I
Metal.
can be heard.
Okay. I hear four people. Thank you. Rick is speaking to himself again, says Josh. I mean, Jeff. Says Joshua Potts. And then, of course, they do have Nichelle Nichol. Oh, not Nichelle Nichols. Sorry. Nurse Chapel. And again, I don't think they really did her justice either, in my opinion. I'm not even sure whether she should be on the ship because she was supposed to be married or close to married at one point. I forget what the thing is. There's an episode in the first season that I think talks about it. When they go to One of the first with the salt vampire. The guy on that planet, I think, was in the.
Sorry, I did not hear anything you said for maybe the last minute and a half.
Oh,
Because uh, just as they were able to hear me again, my mom comes walking in, telling me that she's coughing up blood, and that was a serious conversation I had to deal with for a minute or two. She
yeah.
doesn't, she's not too worried about it, but she just wanted me to know just in case, because I'm like the only person here who cares apparently.
Okay. Let's see. Timothy says only one. It's the only one metal. Timothy, you can't call him hair metal because he has no hair. Let's see. Joshua says the two other voices must be in your head. Edward Joshua says, Rick, I would like to call you, like to make you an honorary American with all the rights and privileges that come with that title. Timothy says he hopes your mom's okay. Metal.
Well, she's definitely not, but it doesn't seem to be any less okay than normal at the moment. I did ask her if she needed an ambulance, but she's like, no, no. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. She tries to avoid going to the hospital as much as possible, and I don't blame her. You know, they only ever say the same thing, so unless it's actually an emergency, it's like, what are you gonna do? Dope her up for the night on morphine, wait for it to pass, and then she's gonna be in the same case tomorrow.
Yeah. Timothy said, I said it's the one, the only medal. Honorary American with all privileges that come with that title, which is none. It's a Stouffer. Um, and unfortunately, I don't think Edward Joshua can really do that. That's up to customs and immigration, or maybe not even them. I'm not sure who.
Well, I mean, we could just get you to a sanctuary city.
Yeah, true. But I'm not sure what. I think that might be worse than living in Canada.
Judging by some of those cities, yeah, I would say so.
No, I don't think I'm too good to be a Yank. I just think it's better to be a Canuck. And with, well, I'm gonna say with a Yank, wouldn't that just be Yankee? So isn't that just um, New York? Or
Well, I mean, that really depends on how far back you're using that term, right? It used to be a slur, kind of, by the British to refer to all of the colonists. They were a bunch of Yankees, right? Then at a certain point, they kind of stopped using it. There was the Mason-Dixon line, so it was like which side of the war you're on, or whether you're a Yankee or not. Now people pretty much just use it to talk about people from New York, but technically, all Americans are still Yankees.
yeah, I think I can buy that. Yankee Doodle Dandy stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. That's I know. You can be homeless in California. Says I don't know about that, Rick. About what? Better being a better being a Canuck than a Yankee. There's. I think there's some good things about being probably living in the states, and there's disadvantages, and that might even depend on where you live. in the States, too. Just like there's good things and bad things about depending about living in Canada and probably even where you live in Canada.
Well, for some reason, people like to build their houses where they're probably going to die. I don't know what's up with that. They like flood zones, they like hurricane zones, they like cliffs and rock faces and things that will have mudslides. Some of us like to live in Tornado Alley. I really don't get it. Like, oh, prime real estate, yes, until weather comes through and kills you.
Timothy says he would rather be a Yank than a Canuck. And he says, fair enough, Rick.
Yeah. Then again, also for some reason, people decide they want to live in the middle of the desert where there's no water anywhere. We need that to live.
Yeah. Joshua says, so Yank was a slur? Yep.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yank was always a slur. People use it against different people now. Like Timothy pointed out, a lot of Southerners use it for people from the North, but people from other countries used it as a slur. It was always kind of that way.
Yeah, I think I knew that. I was just because of, the New York Yankees. I figured I'd play on that.
Well, that's because we decided to own it. Like you try to give us a stupid nickname. It's like, no, 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 no. This name rocks. You're foolish for giving it to us, and we're taking it.
Yeah. Well, that's the best way in a lot of ways to defeat some of that stuff. Make it a badge of honor. Like, just like Christians, when the word Christian was meant towards Christians at first, it was a slur as well. It was supposed to be an insult. But Christians took it as a badge of honor, and oh, you're calling me a mini Christ, in a good way, not a bad way. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
I mean, I guess it's better than being called the Yehoshuan.
Okay,
Well, because it just wouldn't roll off the tongue. Could you imagine just saying that all the time?
a Yoshuan. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
just
does have a
Yehoshuan.
certain metal has a point, but people, am I right? You're forgiven. What am I forgiven for? Hence, why punkers call themselves punks. Punk was a slur at some point. Uh, Puffer goes hashtag pro Christian. Same here. As
Yeah,
pastry, I
I
think
mean, I
I've
don't know.
told both.
Maybe Josh would like that though, because a Yehoshuan would just be translated to a Joshuan.
Yeah. Would you like that, Joshua? Joshuans? Joshuans? The cult of Joshua.
Yep. Christ was a Joshua. Jesus was just his Greek name, which also still would have been pronounced Yesus in Greek because they didn't have the j sound. That's something more recent.
Timothy says, sounds like a religion dedicated to anyone named Josh. And what Joshua said, I would love that. I think Joshua has two phones up or two different accounts going on two different things at the moment, so he can type on using two of his
What?
accounts.
No. No, those are clearly two different people. What are you talking about?
Because I'm pretty sure he controls the N word Joshua. I don't think that's anybody else.
Well, yes, we use his Greek name because he is such an important figure, and even aside from the prophet, there's like 20 Yehoshuas in the Bible, most of them in just across the Old Testament, that they felt it was better to delineate him from the other ones. That's why they use the Greek name.
Yeah.
It's still the same guy though. It's like translating name. You could use whichever name. You're still talking about the same guy.
Timothy. Edward says, same guy. Timothy says, quick, Josh, play dumb. Oh, I doubt you have, but have you? I'm not, again, I'm not sure how much you're into it. Transformers. They have a new Transformers TV series. It's more kid.
Oh, is it better than the last five?
I'm not sure. I forget what the last five were.
I don't even know if it was the last five. I just threw out a number. It feels like it's been a long time since I've enjoyed a Transformers show. I think the
Yeah.
last one I liked was the I think they call it the is it the Energon trilogy or I don't know. It's the
Oh,
one that Armada was in. I really liked Armada. I thought Armada was good.
okay. There's been a
And
lot
like,
since then, but yeah.
well, I know there's been a lot since then. Uh, there was one that wasn't bad. It was definitely more, I guess, aimed towards little kids. Like I would
Yeah.
say closer to 10 years old, as opposed to like just the preteen bracket.
Yeah.
That was this had to be almost a decade ago. It was based off the Michael Bay stuff, but it was like very cartoony. And there's like
Oh,
a, I think
yeah. Yeah.
the side
Transformers
character was like a
Prime.
black girl with pigtails. Yeah, that one was fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't super into it, but like I could see why kids like this. This is not a
Yeah.
bad show.
Yeah.
But that's the last one I thought was okay.
Yeah. This one's called Transformers Earth Spark. Basically, it's on Nickelodeon. There's been one season of it so far. It's not too bad. I think because it's on Nickelodeon, it's a little bit more kiddish.
Yeah.
Uh, um, the family lives in the town of Witwicky.
Okay, that's a nice throwback.
Um, and basically, it's a family. The dad in it is actually a huge Transformers fan. You know, the Transformers are somewhat.
That's a little cringe, but okay.
They make it, I think, work. The mom had worked with Transformers before, but now she's like a park ranger, and her kids. She's got like two young kids, like one 10 and one a little under 10, or like
Okay.
8 or something like that. And they end up
Are
going
they
on a
mostly using him being a fan as kind of like the "Oh, Dad, you're so embarrassing" trope?
at times, yeah. You know, and he's
Okay.
really a fan of Bumblebee, and Bumblebee's some sort of sports car in this. I don't know what type. Um,
Is he a Camaro?
no,
Oh, okay.
he, I know he's not that.
Because that's what he was last time he was a sports car.
Yeah, well, like I mean, high energy sports car or whatever you might say. you know,
High energy. I
yeah.
don't know what that means.
Um, how do I put it? Uh,
High octane? I don't know.
maybe like he's just not not
Are
something
we
like a
talking about like a Ferrari here?
well, I think even maybe close to that, maybe beyond that. Like a fancy looking sports car. I
Well, I
don't
mean,
know.
if you're going that high end, it's either going to be Ferrari or Lamborghini. Those are like your only
Yeah,
real options at the highest end. But
I know. I know they've said what he is. It might be something made up for the cartoon itself.
yeah,
I don't know.
it
Um,
could be. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, and the Decepticons are in it, and actually Megatron's supposed to be a good guy in this. He's been reformed.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit off, but but they are chasing down Decepticons at times, not all the time. Bumblebee's training these couple new bots that were made on Earth, basically, and by made on Earth, I don't mean like Optimus and the Autobots building them, and
No, you're talking about like the U.S. government or something like
no,
that
no,
is
no.
making them,
The
right?
two kids find this like, and I'd call it an energon pool with some Cybertronian um, artifact or whatever, or found out it was, and these kids touch it and they get some sort of arm bracelet, and then two Transformers end up coming out. New Transformers come, prototypes, if you will, protoforms end
Mm.
up coming up out of the energon puddle, or I'm assuming it's energon. So it's
Okay. I think a better plot would have been like instead of actually reforming Megatron, he had to be like he was forced to be on their team out of like having no other choice
yeah,
because like some shadow government, it doesn't have to be an actual government, right? Because you don't want to piss anybody off, but like some shadow government got a hold of the ability to make their own and just started mass producing. You're like, well, I guess we have to work together. I can't really take over everything if I'm dead.
yeah. They
That'd be
already
way more fun.
they do already they the only reason I found out about it, I seen the first two episodes are on YouTube, free to watch in full. Well, they're as one episode, one and two together. So if you want to check it out and see whether you may or may not like it.
Yeah, I might check it out later.
Let's see. I like the old
I do
school.
like Transformers. They were always fun. I just think they have a really bad track record of less than half of their shows actually being good. Like the original is good. I do like it. That movie that you showed me, I'm not so sold on.
Which movie?
The one that was basically just a bunch of music videos. It was like the Transformers movie from like back in the day. I remember we
Oh,
all watched it.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that one I didn't care for that so much, but the actual show that it was attached to is good.
yeah,
The ones around the turn of the millennia were pretty good too. They've got a few good shows,
yeah,
but obviously the strength was always the fact that they're amazing toys. And
yeah.
everybody collected them. I had some.
Joshua Hughes says, "Why do you think I control this Joshua of color? Because it's got the name Joshua in it. Like I do. Okay, I forget what that was to Timothy Cross Comics. You know Sergeant Bats? I do not think so. Is he another YouTuber? And where Joshua says, I just didn't want to be called Yeshua. That was my motivation. Timothy's huge fan, Transformers. And no, I don't watch the new ones. I like the old school. Yeah, I obviously like the original best, followed by Beast Wars. Beast Machines, I'm a bit iffy on.
I'm iffy on Beast Wars.
I think they do. Well, at least the first season was good when they went all the transmetal stuff and all that. I thought that was a bit hokey, you know. Um, but I like the first season, I guess, the best of Beast Wars. Although the thing I was really surprised for with, I think, as everybody is, that the last season or the last episode of the first season where you see Megatron, the Beast Wars Megatron, at
Yeah.
Optimus, and he's only as big as his head. It's like, oh my god, that's crazy.
My problem is just the animation, which I think we did a whole thing about this on the Vomitorium like a year or two ago. But like the budget for it, like I know it's a very early CG, right? Like it really wasn't the big thing yet.
Yeah,
I think might have been around the same time, if not actually a little bit earlier than that was Reboot, which
yeah,
again Reboot's a little earlier, so it gets a slight pass. But like then I look at something that came out at the exact same time as Beast Wars, which was the Donkey Kong Country TV show that had like a fraction of the budget, and I'm just like, where did they put the budget for this show?
probably they had a lot of characters, so maybe that's where it went
Yeah.
in developing the characters.
Yeah.
I could,
I just wish like they would have just 2D animated. I probably would have enjoyed the show way better if they just stuck to the 2D animation.
yeah. Although the recent version of the Beast Wars is, in my opinion, worse. Well, maybe not for animation, 3D animation, but
Yeah. Well, like Beast Machines looked better. I mean, it was a few years later, and they used a lot of shadows from the fact that it took place in a city type environment to
yeah,
cover up a lot of the actual like bad modeling and stuff like that that they couldn't do as much in kind of like the open dinosaur plains of Beast Wars. But then while they made it look better, the story suffered so much. Like you went in the opposite direction of what you were supposed to. What are you doing?
yeah. Let's see what else we got. And I am watching Transformers Headmasters. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I watched a couple episodes of it way back in the day. Then I lost where I got them from. The only problem I hated was Japanese, and it was dubbed. No, it was subbed, not dubbed. And I hate
No,
pausing.
always subs over dub.
I just can't read that fast, so I'd
Well,
rather a
just learn
dub.
to speak Japanese.
Well, there's that too. Let's see. That would be digital blackface or something. I don't know. It's all about Troll Hunters Academia. What would that be? Take care, Rick. The shadows are calling me back to obscurity. Timothy says he is a bitching Camaro. The N word. If were N word Joshua Timothy. If I were. Timothy puts a link to something. Let's see. And more Joshua. Yeah, running two accounts is too much work. Just going back to me, Joshua Hughes. I hate it already. I agree with Metal. I love that movie. I think the original Transformers movie.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. I was that's the time that he put that.
They can't recapture the magic of the original. Yeah, it's hard. Hard. Yeah, science. Sergeant Bats is really into comics and stuff. Does a lot of comic reviews. Don't know how active he is anymore, but he's also a Christian comic book guy. Cool, cool, cool. Megatron was so brutal in '86. Yeah, yeah. There's some like Energon, Transformers, Robots in Disguise. I wasn't not a big fan of. Like you said, there's a lot of them that they made one
Just
after
like
another.
yeah.
This doesn't really reflect Transformers.
Yeah, and there were parts of that movie that I thought were good. It's just like I thought the pacing was horrible in general, and that was like a big flaw to the movie. And part of it too is that animation, you save budget in one place, but then you spend it somewhere else because obviously you have to get your licensed music. There were just there were like all these musical montages and stuff. Then like I think the movie would have been better if these weren't here.
Yeah. Well,
In fact,
and
I could
they
probably do a reshot of that movie using all the animation that's already there and just redub over it with a new cast. I mean, I wouldn't want to because obviously the voices are iconic, but like you'd have to lose some of the audio in the background, right? But like just using what's already there, I could probably make that exact movie a better movie.
yeah, the yeah, they got, some big name voices, at least one, being Nimoy for Galvatron.
Yeah.
Not sure whether they should have done that because then, they're planning on putting it as a TV series, so
Unless I could actually get like master um, files, which would be hard with how old the movie is, that had it separate from the score. Because if I could get a version that's separate from the score, then I wouldn't have to change any of the voice acting, and I could just fix everything else.
yeah, definitely hard getting there that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because it was all like analog back then, right? Like, so they would have versions of it that don't have the score on it, but it would have to be like some reel that's like really far back in some vault somewhere. That's not happening.
Yeah. Joshua says I've only seen Transformers Prime. Yeah, let's see. If I can figure out how many Transformer series there have been.
Too many.
So I'm gonna say agree with that. Transformers TV series.
See, I really liked Armada. I thought that one was a good one. My problem was with that, because it was made as a trilogy, is that it really started going into dumb directions once it became Energon and Cybertron. Because those were all technically the same series. And it's like you could have just stopped at Armada and you would have been good. I liked the Minicon thing. I thought that was pretty cool. And they all had like little personalities of their own. They made good characters for a show.
Yeah, let's see. Transformers Generation 1, Transformers Headmasters, Transformers Super God, Master Force, Transformers Victory, Transformers Zone, um, Beast Era, Beast Wars, Transformers, Beast Wars 2, Beast Wars Neo. Some of these are Japanese and we never even got them, so. Oh, then there was Generation 2 as well. They the GoBots are they include on this list the GoBots.
Those aren't Transformers. Get out of there.
Although in recent years they Hasbro or whoever does Transformers has acquired them because they put them in. There was actually I bought a comic book and they actually had Psykill in the battle arenas with
Yeah.
Megatron, and he was getting trashed. Let's see. Let's have Beast Wars, Neo Beast Machines. Then there's uh, Transformers, Robots in Disguise. I didn't really like that. Unicron Trilogy, Armada, Energon,
That's
Cybertron.
the Armada one, yeah.
I wasn't really keen on that. And then
Like,
Transformers Animated. That was pretty good.
yeah, I remember that one. That one's all right. The reason I liked Armada specifically is because it just felt like going back to the roots. Like it was very similar to the original,
Yeah.
but then it went into weird directions with Energon and Cybertron that just went completely unnecessary.
Yeah. And Robots in Disguise as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Timothy says F GoBots. And again, Rick, GoBots suck. Yeah. Timothy says end of story. Hey, War Chief, how are you? How's it going? It's going pretty good. We've just been talking about Transformers as I'm drawing up my one character there, as you see on the screen. And just doing it for fun, chilling. We got into it by talking about the latest series a little bit, or me talking a little bit about it. Earthspark. Nobody else here has watched it yet. uh, Joshua Edgehog. Hey, good night, Spoon. He says he just woke up. I can't get back to sleep. Well, sorry about that.
My
Uh,
condolences.
Timothy says not real metal. Let's see. It says align continuity, Transformers Prime, Rescue Bots, um, Transformers Go. I don't think I saw that one. Prime
Well, I think
is
this is
not.
also why I liked Prime, because Prime, in a lot of the same ways, especially because it was trying to capture the Michael Bay movies, which was kind of going back to the beginning, was another one that was returning to its roots. I think when they tried to do the stuff that happened in like the very first season of Generation 1, they do well. And then it's when they try to get too far away from that, that's where they start screwing up.
Yeah. Rescue Bots is like a real kid thing, like beyond under 10 probably. I'm not sure whether you've seen Transformers Rescue Bots.
Uh,
And like I said,
it sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it. No.
it's for like real young kids, probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I hate stuff like that. There's a series I really like, which is Gundam, right? Mechs. It's a Japanese series,
Yeah, I've heard of it.
and it's the property's been around for so long, right? In a similar vein, that they'll have all these little spin-off stuff, and they've got this one version of it that's all chibi, right? And the Gundams themselves are the characters, kind of like in the way that like the Transformers are alive, instead of just being a mech that people pilot. And they're like small, person size, and you could tell this CG animated show is built for like 5 or 6 year olds. But it's like, why? Why would you just take this Gundam show and do that? There's no purpose to this show.
Yeah, there's a purpose. Try to make money off of parents from little kids. Let's see. Let's Transformers Go. I said that another Transformers Robots in Disguise from 2015 to 17, and Robot Transformers Rescue Bots Academy. So an offshoot of the Rescue Bots. A Mystery of Convoy. So I guess that's Mystery of Prime because isn't what his name was in the thing?
I
Japanese.
think so. Yeah. Yeah, that was. No,
Let's
I just got distracted because now I started thinking of stupid things like Transformers Paw Patrol.
Prime Wars trilogy. So Transformers Combiner Wars, Transformers Titans Return, Transformers Power of the Prime. They weren't too bad. Let's see. Orc War Chief review says the only thing I'm really interested in is the new Sonic at this point. I want to see how that cartoon goes. The new Dragon Prince season was kind of lame, and Wednesday was okay. And then he says, "Oh God, the Gundam SD Defense. Although I do like
Yeah,
Chibi."
Superior Defender Gundam Force. It was just a horrible, horrible show.
He says, "I do like Chibis. Look, I'm not a fan of that one. Oh, I do like the chibi look. I'm not a fan of that
Yeah.
one."
Well, the worst part is that one was they were airing two different Gundam shows at like the same time, right? So that was for like the little kids, and then at the same time, there actually was a really good one going on, and it was Mobile Fighter G Gun. Was it Mobile Fighter G Gundam? I think that's how you say it in English. But Mobile Fighter G Gundam was basically an alternate timeline. It had nothing to do with the normal Mobile Suit Gundam stuff, and Earth was pretty much abandoned. Right, like all the colonies had left it, and they like there was a new Neo America, Neo Mexico, Neo England, and Neo Germany. All these different colonies floating around, and they used Earth as like their battleground to solve disputes. So they would send like these fighters in these big mechs down onto Earth in like a tournament. And anytime these colonies had disputes, you'd have like Neo America versus like Neo Germany fighting it out in like a UFC style like match between giant robots. And all of the Gundams were like stereotypical country designs. So like Mexico had, I think, like a sombrero and cactus parts on its mech, and Holland had a windmill on its head. It was so stupid, but it was great. It was like wrestling with mechs.
Oak War Chief review says, "Have you ever seen the Dozy Bots, the American version of SD Gundam that's supposed to come out in the 90s?
Yeah.
You've seen it?"
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Good Night Spoon says, I'm catching up on 30 years of Simpsons I missed. It's not as bad as society has made it sound. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I would take a while to watch all those episodes, but that's something I would like to do at some point too. Watch all the Simpsons.
Yeah, I mean, you could find gems even after like seasons. Either 9 through 11 is when people cut it off. It depends on the person. I mean, there's still good episodes throughout it, and none of them are especially bad. It's just a lot of them get pretty bland.
Yeah. Simpsons Joshua says, I'm watching it for the first time. I'm on season 8. Cool. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Transformers Cyberverse. I think that was pretty good. I think I saw that. War for Cybertron trilogy. I'm not sure whether I saw that either way. And Transformer Bot Bots. Okay, somehow that does not sound good. Yeah, well, I don't have Disney Plus at the moment. Good Night Spoon. Right now, I've got Paramount Plus. I'm working with my way through the Love Boat. I'm still in season 1.
The Love Boat.
Well, I remember watching it when I was a kid. I liked it, so I figured, I'd go through it. And there's like 10 seasons of it. It's like, wow. But it's amazing, There's other series that you would think would have that many seasons, that don't. Like
Yeah.
Flintstones, um, Gilligan's Island,
I was
Star
about to
Trek.
say Gilligan's Island is one that you assume is a lot longer than it actually is.
Yeah, only 3 seasons. It's
Like, how do you rerun the same 3 seasons that many times?
and again, another one like Star Trek, like so many people, you see this episode and somehow you don't realize you've seen it, or, somehow you've missed, one episode out of, like the only 76 or 80 episodes that there are. It's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
A lot of seasons did used to be longer than they are now, though. So I'm probably. It's not even just the time difference, right? Because like you'd expect them to only cut in half episode count because episodes tend to be about twice as long as they used to be from premiere shows. But like even then, you'll have some shows that had they ran almost year round, right? So they'll have anywhere between like 40 to 50 episodes, and then you'll have like modern shows like you're lucky to get 8.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Good Night Spoons says, my B, so I guess that's my bad. I thought you were a pirate.
A
Arr,
pirate.
arr, sometimes I am. That's how I watched Earthspark. Well, the rest of Earthspark and Strange New Worlds. I'm actually gonna watch Andor, Star Wars Andor. You know.
I'm a pirate. I've been keeping up every Friday on my Urusei Yatsura reboot, which I am very much enjoying.
Arc War Chief says, to be honest, I've been saying scrap to that and watching the Red Green Show on YouTube. Oh yeah, I watched. I downloaded that I think a few years ago. The Red Green Show. It's great. I love Red Green. Rebellious asks, "How are you, Metal?"
I'm feeling a little better. I last week I was sick, pretty bad. I even canceled the vomitorium. I was gonna go through with it. There just wasn't that much to talk about, and being sick actually gave me a really good excuse to cancel it. But yeah, I canceled it on Saturday. I was already sick on Wednesday, and I pulled like 2 shows in a row after that. Because I always had I had Matt Race's show afterwards. So I've been pulling. I've also had to like rearrange this entire garage while sick, which involved moving a pool table.
Oh,
So like I probably was overexerting myself to some degree, but I'm feeling quite a bit better. I went for a walk today.
yeah. Yeah. The guy that plays Red Green, Steve Smith, I think is his name. He used to. I'm pretty sure he lived in this area because he had a show called Smith and Smith before that he taped here in Hamilton, Ontario. Orc. Good Night Spoon says everyone knows everything modern and current day is bad until it becomes nostalgic and then it's suddenly good. Hashtag modern day law. Hey, no. I know there was great stuff back in the 70s, 80s, a few good things in the 90s.
There's still good stuff. Actually, mentioned Paramount Plus earlier. There is a show. I watched the first one. I thought it was really good. I just don't know if I want to keep up with it or if I just want to wait till the season's over because I do like to binge shows. Called The Tulsa King, which is starring Sylvester Stallone, and the showrunner is the same guy who made The Sopranos. And I really enjoyed that first episode. So I don't know. There's good stuff.
Is that just a new show? I think I've seen an advertisement for it.
Yeah, it's fairly new. I think last week the second episode came out, so there'll be another one sometime this week. Um, and it's about a mobster who spent the last 25 years of his life in jail for the mob and did not rat out. So they moved him to Tulsa because there was nothing left for him in New York. And he's like, "You're going to be our guy down there." And now he has to basically set up in the modern day this kind of like organized crime business in Tulsa, of all places. There's even like a dispensary there. And he immediately goes because it's legal to sell pot. But he starts setting up shop. He's like, "No, you work for me now because who's going to give you protection?" And it's so funny. I love it. It's got good drama. I recommend.
Okay, let's see. Orc says, yeah, Steve Smith also has a show called History Bites, which is also on YouTube. I wish Rick Green's show was up on YouTube, but I don't think it is. What show is that, Rick Green's? I'm not even sure who that is. I'm glad you didn't say Yellowstone. I was about to unsubscribe and delete my account forever more. Maybe sometimes, but not really.
Oh yeah, no. I tried Yellowstone. Then I untried it.
Oh, maybe that's the one I was thinking about. So you guys don't think Yellowstone is good?
Eh, it was boring.
Because I saw that on Paramount Plus and I've seen an ad for it now that I remember, and I was thinking it looked pretty good.
I think that's probably like the worst criticism I give something. Like I can't even tell you really if it's good or bad. I was just bored.
Board's not good.
Yeah, that's actually my problem with most modern stuff. Is like, oh man, I was complaining about this earlier today with the new Mario trailer. They try to make a spectacle out of everything, right? Like there's got to be a beat here. There's got to be a beat here. There's got to be a beat here. And it's like, well, everything's a attraction. Everything's just a theme park ride. Everything's boring. It's all the same. Leave me alone. Make something good.
Orc says Rick Green is the co-writer of the Red Green Show. He's also the co-writer of History Bites and has a sci-fi comic and book show where he has reviewed comic books and talks to sci-fi raiders or readers. Um, oh, okay. Is he the Rick Green? Was he the nephew on the Red Green Show, or was he actually on the show itself? Good Night Spoon says Yellowstone is what we in America call overrated. Everyone in America loves it. Well, not everyone. We were just told by Metal that he doesn't really like it.
Apparently, on the show, Rick Green played Bill Smith. I'm trying to remember this. I've seen Red Green, but it's been a bit.
Yeah, he was all about the duct tape.
Yeah.
If a woman don't find you handsome, she should find you handy. And with the lodge and all that, he is not in America. Did you know you're not in America, Metal?
Oh yeah, I'm in Texas. It's its own place. Everybody knows that.
Okay, there's probably have to put on a whole bunch more spots, but I haven't seen it.
I finally got that missing line I needed from my comic dubs, so I
Ah,
put up another one like early this morning.
cool, cool, cool. Yeah,
That's what I was working on before I hopped in here.
hopefully by the weekend I should actually have another video done for my pages that I've been coloring. So hopefully by the weekend, like I said, I'll have page 19 done and started on page 20. So in about 2 weeks, I might probably in about 2.5 weeks, I might have to get you to go through another script.
Yeah, man. Somebody else also has me going through a script for an animated show. Uh, I'm getting paid for it, so I don't care. He's a cool guy, but
Yeah.
man, he's coming up to me. He's like, "Okay, here's a show I want to do next year," and he gives me like the whole season's worth of scripts, right? And he'll pay me per script. But I'm like, man, didn't you? Don't you have like 3 pilots already? Like, do you really need to be running a fourth show? But I've talked to this guy before. He's a cool guy. He's a lot like me, and it's like I don't blame him. You have an idea, you got to run with it.
Yeah. Let's see. Or
Yo, Letterkenny's great. We actually, I've always seen bits of it, right? Like I would watch clips on YouTube, but within like the last couple of weeks, me and my brothers and one of our old friends have been sitting in here watching Letterkenny like all the way through. I think we're like season 5 now or whatever. Really funny show. You ever see Letterkenny?
I haven't even heard of it.
Okay, it takes place in the town of Letterkenny, Ontario. I
Okay.
don't think it's a real town. But only 5,000 people live in this town.
Yeah,
So
I don't
it's one
think.
of those type of towns.
I could be wrong, but I definitely don't think it's a real town. I think I
I'm
know.
fairly sure they say it's a fictional town many times in the show. I just can't be bothered to care if it's real or not. Um, but it's great. It's about technically a brother and a sister, but it's more focused on the brother and his 2 friends. And they live on a farm, and Wayne is like the toughest guy in all of Letterkenny, which I mean, is it really that impressive to be the toughest guy in a town of 5,000 people? Uh, and it's just a bunch of hijinks, but like them drinking, doing country stuff, making fun of idiots and stuff like that. It is a great show.
Sounds interesting.
I have not watched Shorzy yet. That is on our list though. because we saw that Shorzy has his own like thing. He shows up a lot. I mean, but it's fun. It's a fun show.
Let's see. Orc says Adventures with Bill. That's that's what green. Okay. He's disappointed in you.
I'll get to it eventually.
There's only so many hours in a day.
I also don't watch this show by myself, right? Yeah, because there's so many things that I have to do, and even so many things to catch up on. I only watch it when the others are out here. We were watching it as a group. And that based off the crazy city Thunder Bay, Ontario. It might be, because I've heard that mentioned too. There's some characters that are named after that even showed up. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely heard of Thunder Bay. I just haven't ever been there. Well, I guess that would be just like Metropolis with Toronto. Metropolis is actually formed after Toronto back from World War II era, or just before, just after.
You'll love the show. I saw it at a church. I don't know. I don't know if that show is church appropriate. I mean, it's TV appropriate. Like, I would probably even let I wouldn't say young, but like teenagers watch it. Like, it's fine. But like, I would be like saying that '70s show is church appropriate just because like the preacher showed up several times. There is a preacher in Letterkenny named Glenn who is very fruity, but he is still trying to preach the good word of the Lord, all the same.
Timothy's what show? Oh, Letterkenny. It is
Yeah.
funny. Last I knew, if there's a church in it, it's a viewable in church.
I
No.
don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, yeah.
Timothy says, but not church appropriate. Like think Highlander, the movie. There's churches in it. I'm not sure whether me. I wouldn't say that's exactly church appropriate.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I could definitely say aren't church appropriate just because there's a church in it. Heck, there are pornographies that take place entirely within churches.
Yeah, I thought there might be, but
And then he even brought up one that was on my mind too, End of Days, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's not church appropriate. There's a scene where like I think the guy who's possessed by the devil fornicates with like a mother and her daughter at the same time.
good night, Spoon.
Uh,
How
that-
do
uh,
you explain when they showed End of Days at my church with Arnold?
yeah.
Probably because they didn't realize what it was about. Somebody forgot to view it first. The only reason I even know about it is because a lot of the comedians from Canada talk about how crazy the city is. But the dogma was banned. I will have to ponder this, says Goodnight Spoon. Then again, I went to church that showed all six Star Trek movies. Yeah.
Dogma, probably. I don't know if it should be banned per se, but it shouldn't be shown in a church.
What kind of
It's definitely.
porn are you watching?
Well,
Who said he was watching?
there's
Because
this
he
thing.
knows about
There's
it.
this thing in the Newgrounds festivals. There's a block at night that's a hentai viewing party where, for some reason, and I hopped in because a bunch of my friends were there. For some reason, everybody's like, "Hey, we're gonna watch hentai together." I'm just like, "Why? Why are we doing this?" But we did it. Listen, you can find all kinds of weird stuff on Newgrounds.
Oh,
Actually, kind of one of the best parts about the site.
there's something. I haven't quite finished my hair manga.
You're never going to. Listen, Rick, we called this off like years ago. What are you talking about?
Uh, well, I want to finish the script. I'm actually close to done. I got to sit and think about
This entire thing was just a bluff from the beginning.
yeah. Good night, Simpsons. Joshua says, "Good night, Spoon wants the sauce." Simpson Joshua says, "Did Good Night Spoon even say anything about watching the show in a church?"
Yes.
Or War Chief says, "Remember, everybody, it's better to burn out than fade away." True. Captain Infinity says, "Did I come back at a bad time?" I don't know. You have to decide that for yourself. Timothy's, yeah. Why would any
Or no, he said he
friends?
saw a church in it. But then it was brought up that it's not appropriate for church. And I brought that up because just because a church is in something doesn't mean you'll like it.
Good point. I didn't
Mm.
suggest watching it at church. Well, I guess Rick kept it real. Simpsons Joshua, did Rick misread a comment? Maybe. That's possible. It's nothing new. Timothy says he always misreads a comment.
Now I forgot what we're talking about.
Uh, sh- Shows watching them in church or not? Or did we get past that?
I don't know.
Let's see. Orc Chief says, I still feel bad. The day that I found out Death Wish 2, the movie club never knew about the horrible scene that was in there because I only saw the censored version. Okay? I've actually never seen. Actually, I think I did see the first Death Wish movie, or one of them, but not really
The
my movie
originals?
either. Pardon?
Is it the originals?
Yeah, with Charles Bronson, I think it was.
Yeah, the good ones.
I saw one. I might have saw both or two of them or whatever. One of them. I don't know which one.
74.
Well, I don't think I saw it when it came out. That's for sure.
I know that I've seen five. So I know there's at least five. I don't know if there's any more than that. I think there's only five. I didn't care for the remake.
Spoon says you were discussing your knowledge of church-related porn via hentai viewing group parties. Oh yeah, and I had said
Yes,
about
yes.
the whatchamacallit, the harem.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're saying
That
that
that was
was
all just a bluff in the first place, and we're gonna find out 15 years later Rick's finally gonna finish his harem manga.
hopefully sooner than that. I got to sit down and actually write other scripts. I got to rewrite maybe all of. I got I had once upon a time Snowdrift issue 4 written completely, and I don't know where the whole thing is, but I found like 8 pages of it written. No, 7 pages. So I either got to rewrite the whole book or the other 7 minus 22, 19 pages. I don't know. No, not 19. 15 pages. And I was rereading number 5, and I know something happens in number 4 that makes for what will happen in number 5.
That is typically how chronological time works. Yes.
Yeah, but there's well, she finds out something in issue 4 that makes her travel to Montreal from Edmonton. You know, where normally she's just in, the one in Edmonton for most of her stuff. And Good Night Spoon said. Then Rick said he wants to make a harem manga. No, I said I want to finish my harem manga. Just right that Rick. Think back to all the hot babes who've dated over the years. What, me that I've dated? I haven't dated anybody. Not really, anyways. Captain Finney says exactly. The trick is to hang out with a lot of chicks, and then write a comic about it, and then get Dillard to draw it. Yeah, I guess that's one thing you could do.
I think Dillard would draw a comic about Rick hanging out with hot chicks if he thought it would actually get Rick a hot chick. He's a good buddy. He'd do it for
Yeah.
you. But then he'd probably force you to tell him about it. And you'd have to be like, but it's rude to kiss and tell.
I might kiss and tell, but I won't do much more than that until Captain Finity says works on them. Then thinks about all the crazy stalkers who've had a crush on you. I haven't had those either, unless you're counted among those, except for Joshua.
I think Goodnight Spoon just wants you to watch a bunch of movies so he doesn't have to.
Just watch I Heartbreak Huckabees and write me a review on the meaning and meaningless of existence of whether the blanket theory is legit. Okay, I have no idea what that even is.
What, I Heart Huckabees?
Well, that too. The blanket theory. I was more thinking, but
I've heard of it. I have not seen it. Mark Wahlberg's in it. That's all I know.
Simpson Joshua raises an eyebrow. Then you get in a weird loop where Dillard draws the hot chicks and then they materialize in actuality. Yeah.
There's
With
some
the
like weird science situation going on here. Or...
Well, it's either that or I'm not sure whether you know this cartoon.
Cool World.
No, there's a cartoon
Oh.
that I knew about that they played on air when I was a kid called Simon and the Land of Chalk Drawings, and base.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, my name is Dillard, and the things I draw come true. There we go. That's what he's talking about.
I prefer Chalk Zone. I thought it was a better show.
Shark Zone, did you say?
It's a Chalk Zone.
Okay, what is Chalk Zone?
It was a show about a kid named Rudy who got a magic piece of chalk, and he could basically, if you drew a circle on the chalkboard, you could hop into it. Like they could actually go into the zone where chalk drawings are. Right, very very similar premise in many ways. And anything that ever got erased on a chalkboard ended up in Chalk Zone. And with his magic chalk, he could like fix things or change things in there. It was kind of like one of those just after school adventure shows,
Cool.
comedy.
Good Night Spoon says it's like a fine tapestry. Gay Fish Joshua says I might be a stalker, but I'm not crazy. Good Night Spoon puts up wine, guy with a monocle, and money. And Captain Finity says, No, Rick, it's exactly like Weird Science. Should we give her a brain? I don't know. You tell me if she only had a brain.
I'll be right back.
Uh-huh. So this is Ultimate Boy. Rick, thank Metal for talking about chalkboards. It reminded me of a weird dream I had before I woke up here. You woke up here? Yes, in the modern stories, the smartest characters are the chicks. This is the way. This is the way. Is that something like the Mandalorian? So, yeah, there we have Ultimate Boy. Horsefly. Insecto. And
I'm back.
lay. Is that a booster kiwi? No. It's not that bad. I did 4 drawings tonight. Just flame. Not meaning to. More kitified. Insecto. Horsefly. Uh, and Ultimate Boy. Which is my Superman. Well, not that the Canadian Shield isn't, but he's more of my Superman, Superboy. I combined a bunch of costumes. I used to call him Power Boy, and then I found out there was a character out there called Power Boy, so I didn't.
Yep.
I renamed him.
There's a character out there called Everything.
Yeah. Well, so,
Here's the trick, though. You can actually use the same name as other characters as long as you follow certain guidelines. One, you have to avoid trademarks, so they can't be like the titles of the books or anything like that. Um, and you also have to make sure that you're not using copyrighted words. So as long as you're using standard words, they can't copyright, they can only trademark. And the standard words are anything that's part of the regular English lexicon.
like Ultimate and Boy.
Yeah, there's not really much you could do. You can trademark something for the sake of like titles and branding and stuff like that, but that's also something you have to renew every single year, and it's it's kind of weird. Trademark law. You can also look up every single trademark to see
Yeah.
what is and isn't already, and who currently holds it.
Yeah. And well, the thing is, I think you can hold trademarks for different things too.
Yes, as
Because
long as they are in different like areas. It's weird how they cut it down. But even like a comic book and an animated show are considered two different mediums, right? So
yeah,
you could have it for that. A video game is considered a different area. A law practice is considered a different area, right? As long as you're not considered competing directly with each other. Though I do think things like comic books and animation should be considered the same area, just because it's still fictional storytelling and a lot of the branding is just the same overlap.
no, Joshua, I'm not going to do that because, yeah, you may be able to do it, but
Don't you want to stand out instead?
yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, I could, maybe I could come up with a character called Superman, but, I'm never going to get my character to Superman, I shouldn't say I'm
You're
never
also
going to.
really, really litigious with the Superman, right? All is one word when it comes to protecting the trademark on that. That's why you can call somebody a literal Superman, right? Like you can put the space there and it's fine, but they will try. And even if they can't win, they will still put you in court and they'll force you to settle out because they've got more money than you.
Well, well, in the first Canadian Shield, I have Superman together, but I say virtual
Yeah.
Superman.
You should still always make them two words. Just,
Yeah,
just you know,
I
to
can do
avoid
that.
the problem.
I can do that in the remastered version that I'm doing.
I'll try to remember to leave a note in there.
Yeah. Hopefully, I remember that because I'm probably gonna. Hopefully, I can get some of the stuff myself as I write it in, which, that's something actually I'm going to be doing after after I get everything settled for that. I'm going to be probably getting a page of that done a week because I got another couple projects that I got to do that people actually want to pay me for. So, although I'm not sure whether Timothy heard me earlier, probably not this week coming up, but the week after, I'll probably get the final page of Melvin done. Okay, later. Oh, it's 12 o'clock anyway, so I guess we're
It
ending it.
is.
I knew it was coming up on it. No, I mean virtual, not virtual as in VR. You know,
No, the original definition.
in other words, practically. Say, you know.
Almost or nearly as described.
So anything you would like to promote, Metal?
Well, like I said, I am doing those shorts again now that I finally got that missing line that was holding me off for like almost 2 months. So you can see those on the X Dynamis Chaos YouTube channel. It's pretty easy to find. Almost all YouTube channels, as long as somebody manages to put their handle on there, and this one's easy. It's just at X Dynamis Chaos, all one word, are easy to find now. Yeah, you can find that there. And I'm also working on tour with Mitch and Sandy. I've got the volume cover and the first chapter cover up. I'll have a page or two up soon. I started working on the first page. Then I had to draw a giant, evil, interdimensional space vulture thing, and that was taking more time than I thought it was going to.
Uh, yeah, everything takes more time than we think it is. It does most of the time. Uh, well, I'm going to thank Metal for coming on. Thank my new person for Patreon. If you want that, I think there's a link in the description for that. Hopefully. Um, and want to thank everybody that came out in the chat. It's been great having you all here. Uh, look out for videos throughout the week, and can't wait to see you guys all next week here on the chill stream. So again, thanks everybody for stopping by. We'll catch you all later. Good night. God bless. Have a great sleep or whatever it will be. Have a great week. God bless.